In this instruction video I will explain how you can use Relatics in your collaborative design project. First, a bit about Relatics in general. Then, more on how to use it in the collaborative design project. Relatics is a web-based tool for project information management and systems engineering. It includes an elaborate user interface that takes care of schema design, instantiation, querying and user management. Relatics organizes data in a workspace, which contains all data and logic pertaining to a project. By organizing information using relational elements in a centrally accessible location, the duplication of information within a project can be reduced. But how does this work? In Relatics, a graph of information is formed in which, for example, projects, objects, requirements, and people are explicitly related. When modeling data, the distinction between types and instances is essential. The type, or class, describes the characteristics of a group of elements. Instances are then the things of individuals that belong to the class. With a schema, one defines what kind of information can be modeled. It guarantees that this is done in a predictable and uniform way. In Relatics, two types of roles could be distinguished. On the one hand, there is the functional designer, who creates the type design of the workspace. His work precedes the work of the end user and works on a static model, the schema. On the other hand, there is the end user, who models the project's knowledge domain using typed instances. His work follows that of the functional designer and works on the dynamic model, the instances. In this course, we will only use end-user functionality and use a pre-designed workspace that accommodates tasks for systems engineering. You will have access to a workspace that you will use for the project, as well as an example workspace, shown here. You will be invited to your environment beforehand, after which you can log in. In Relatics there will often be two panels. The left panel will typically show all instances of a certain type. The right panel will show more detailed information about a single selected instance. Within the workspace there are pages for reports and meetings, and you can collect documents related to the project. Over the course of this project, several deliverables need to be handed in. For most of them, data will be created in Relatics. Others reflect and anticipate on the usage of Relatics to govern information over the course of the project. The organization hierarchy models the structure of the organization. A key advantage of modeling the organization hierarchy in a relational fashion is that roles and responsibilities can be made explicit. The work breakdown structure subdivides the overall work required in the project into chunks. Based on this hierarchical structure, for example, time estimates can be made on a granular level and accumulated into an overall sum. The functional breakdown structure lists all functions that must be addressed by the building. Functional requirements have a correspondence to the functional breakdown structure and qualify and quantify their intended behavior. On top of that, general requirements can pose additional constraints, for example, planning, appearance, or costs. The system breakdown structure elaborates how the system, in our case, the result of the collaborative design effort, consists of various subsystems and elements. The beauty of modeling all such decompositions in a relational fashion is that their correspondence can easily be made visible. Often in the case of a matrix, so that can be assessed whether every function is indeed covered by a subsystem. In this way, the verification of the requirements is an integral part of the process. Many tables and views can be exported and be easily incorporated into your reports. Relatics organizes data in a workspace and can be used to gain insight in all related information. On the slide you can find some useful links to get started. The image shows the login page of the Relatics environment of the university. This is where you should log in to access the Relatics online environment.